Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 29th September today, and in this video we are going to discuss these important articles which are here on the slide, which were taken from the newspapers. In fact, we are going to derive questions from these articles, if I will be more precise here. So, if you are the first time visitor of this channel, then let me introduce this initiative to you guys. Every day we discuss three types of questions in here. The first set of questions are from the current affairs. We take up the most important articles from the newspapers, we break them down into the simplest language possible and derive some prelims based questions from those articles, so that it will give you the idea how the questions could come in the exam related to prelims. And also we had started to discuss some static topic here. Every day we discuss a static topic here, and we had started with the Indian polity, and today we are going to discuss the acquisition of citizenship by naturalization, and after discussing that we will derive a prelims based question on that too. And at the end of our discussion we will derive few previous year questions, so that we will get the basic idea how the questions do actually come in the exam, and what can be the methods and ways by which we can solve those questions, and how we can implement that knowledge in the next upcoming exam. So this is all about this initiative. Now I would like to request you guys, please note down these questions while you are watching this video, and I would like to request you guys, please watch the full video. It may seem boring, but it is very much informative for you guys, because if you have these questions with you, and when your exams would be near and you would want to revise the current affairs, at that time it would be difficult for you to revise the current affairs from different sources. But if you have these questions, it would be very much easy. It would help you in two ways. First, when you will revise these questions, it will connect you to the current affairs and help you in revising the current affairs, as well as it will boost your confidence before entering the exam hall, as you would have solved many questions by the help of this video. So I would like to request you guys, please keep these questions with you. And also, who knows, as we are taking these questions from the current affairs and static topics, who knows, many questions could coincide in your exams, so we can be more hopeful for that. And please do write down these questions and keep these questions with you. Now with this, I would again like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends, so that they may get the help which they need for the preparation for what they are preparing for. Now, without any delay, let's have a look at the topics which we have to discuss today. It is about, first topic is, was animal fat present in Tirupati laddus? What is the context behind it? Let's dig a little bit deep into that. They are in Andhra, in the Chittor district of Andhra Pradesh. There is a temple, namely Tirumala Venkateshwara temple, and for this temple, Tirupati laddus are used as prasad, and they are produced in the holy kitchen there. And about the Tirupati laddus, they had got the GI tag in 2014. So these Tirupati laddus are very much famous there, and they have the GI tag, geographical indication tag. So they are very much famous there. They are confined to that region. So with respect to the with respect to the prasad there, with respect to the festival there, there was an auction about which company is going to make these laddus. And with respect to that auction, it is kind of a reverse auction, not in a different way. What is this reverse auction? That the company which would ask for the least money, this contract would be given to that. And with respect to this, it was AR Dairy Foods which got this contract, and they made these laddus. But according to the government, they had blamed that, according to the government, this company, which whose name is AR Dairy Foods, they had used the adulterated ghee, which in these Tirupati laddus. And according to the government, they had argued that they had used adulterated ghee for making of these Tirupati laddus. And also, animal fat has been found in these laddus, which are very much unholy for the temple. So this is the nutshell about the news. So how did they came to know about this, whether this ghee was adulterated or not? So with respect to that, there is a test which we follow. It is S value index, in which different different parameters are given, and if the range falls into the parameters, then it is not adulterated, and if the parameters are out of the range, then it seems to be adulterated. And with respect to that, there are five ranges: S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. These ranges are five parameters are there. If they have their own ranges, and if this if once it is tested and it goes out of the range, then these ladoos, or then the food which then the ghee which has been used to make these ladoos is adulterated. So who gave this? We need to know who gave us this S value index. It is the German scientist whose name is Dieter Prechet. It's something like that. Dieter Prechet. He is the scientist who had given us this S value index. So this is in a nutshell about this article. I hope you had got the basic idea. It is in which temple this Tirupati ladoos were used for. It is Tirumala Venkateshwara temple. So we should know that it is in Chittown district of Andhra Pradesh. Chittown district of Andhra Pradesh. We should know that. And with respect to that, let's solve a prelims based question on Tirupati ladoos and get more idea about it. Then another article which was in the news is about the impact of the death of Hassan Nasrallah. He is the chief security. He is the chief of the Hezbollah in Lebanon, general secretary of Hezbollah in Lebanon, and because of the attacks from Israel, we had seen from last few weeks there are major attacks. Supply chain attacks on Hezbollah, and this general secretary of Hezbollah has died. Now it has increased the concerns where this war is going on, what should be the Israel's approach. And according to the article, Israel cannot get away from this war now. They will go for the full-fledged war, where army would be used, where missiles would be used, and this would be a full-fledged war. It won't be any proxy anymore. And right now Israel is not in a condition where they can take their foot away from this war. If Israel started to take its foot away from the war, if they go for the ceasefire, then automatically in Israel the government will fall, because the four extremes in the Israeli government had decided that we want to clear the Hamas and Hezbollah. So they don't have this condition there. They don't have this option there that they can go for the ceasefire for the Israeli government. And also they cannot claim that they had won the war, because we had seen Hezbollah is still there, Hamas is still there. So right now they can't claim that they had won the war, but what they can do, they will definitely go for the full-fledged war in this situation. So what do we need to know in this topic? We had discussed various types of questions related to Hezbollah, related to Lebanon. Today we will try to solve a map-based question on Lebanon. After that, there was another article. It is about the Kerala's policy to limit antibiotic misuse. Could it reduce antimicrobial resistance, misuse of antibiotics? We had known that how misuse of antibiotics can lead to the antimicrobial resistance, how antibiotics were easily available to the people, to the dairy farmers, to the poultry farmers, and how it has impacted the health, how it has increased the antimicrobial resistance. So with respect to that, the government once brought 2011 H1 rule, in which you cannot buy antibiotics over the counter without prescription, and Kerala is the only state which is still following this 2011 H1 rule. And so but this 2011 H1 rule, it has its limitations too. It in fact did not it reduced the AMR, but it in fact led to the other problems too. So government was forced to change it in 2013, and 2000 H1 rules were brought in, where some favors, where some leniency was shown in granting this medicine. So as Kerala is still following it, this policy, but we had seen that Kerala is still following this 2011 H1 rule, but it has not reduced the antimicrobial resistance there. Because what is the reason for that? Because Kerala is importing most of its poultry, most of its vegetables from the other states, and those other states are not following this policy. So in a different way, it does not impact, it in different way, the policy which the Kerala is going on has least impact on the antimicrobial resistance. So this is in a nutshell about this topic. Then another article which was in the news is about the Indian wild ass, which is Khur, in the little run of Kutch, which houses close to 6,000 Indian wild ass Khur. And about the IUCN status of the Indian wild ass, it is near threatened. What are the issues, why it was in news? Because we see the seasonal migration of population in this region, in the little run of Kutch, and we see that people carry their cattle with them, and there is a conflict between the cattle and these Khur. And also we had seen the animal human Khur conflict also, where because of the overpopulation, now these animals are going into the human territories and destroying the crops there. So there are various tendencies of the human animal conflict there too. So this is the background of this news, why we are discussing it. So what do we need to know from this? We need to know about the Indian wild ass. We need to know it is what is its IUCN status. We need to know where it is majorly located, in the Gujarat region, in the Mongolian region, and all that stuff. After we solve the questions with respect to the current affairs, we will go to the static part, which is citizenship, and finally after that we will solve previous year questions. Now with this, let's move to the first question and try to solve that one by one. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Tripoti Laddu. So let's get the basic idea about the Tripoti Laddu. First statement, it is offered as a prasad at Tirumala Venkateshwara temple. 100% correct. Nothing wrong with this. We had discussed it. Second statement, the preparation of Tirupati Laddu follows a specific ritualistic process that has remained unchanged for centuries. 100% correct. It has been least changed, as it is said, it has been least changed in centuries. For one or two times little change had happened in its preparation. So statement 2 is more correct, and it becomes correct. So coming to the statement 3, Tripoti Laddu has been guaranteed as a GI tag, geographical indication tag, in 2014. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, 2 and 3, and from the code given below, the correct code is option D. With this, I hope you had got the basic idea what is the concern behind Tripoti Laddus, what is the reverse auctioning, and what are the methods by which government is able to confirm that the ghee which the dairy which the company the ghee which the contracted company used was adulterated. So I hope you had got the basic idea about it. Now with this, let's move to the another question here and try to discuss. Here the question is about Lebanon boundaries. Let us see what the question says. Which of the following countries share land boundaries with Lebanon? We have to find out what are the land boundaries of Lebanon. Syria, 100% correct. Israel, correct. Jordan, incorrect. Turkey, incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2, and from the code given below, correct code is option A. Such questions do come in the exam. If you would see the pattern of UPSC, you would often find the conflicted zones are asked, and the neighboring states of those conflicted zones are often asked in the exams. So we should know about this thing too. With this, let's move to the another question. Try to solve that. Here the question says, which of the following states are not still following 2011 H1 rule to curb antimicrobial resistance? What is this 2011 H1 rule? We had discussed it. What does it say? That you cannot buy antibiotics over the counter without prescription. So this is the 2011 H1 rule, and which of the following states still follows it? It is Kerala. The Kerala still follows it. This is the policy which the Kerala follows to curb the antimicrobial resistance. But Is Kerala successful in curbing antimicrobial resistance? That is a question mark, because the statistics does not show that, as Kerala is importing its poultry from neighboring states, its vegetables, its food from the neighboring states, which are using the 2013 norms, and what Kerala should have achieved through 2011 H1 rule, Kerala has not achieved that yet. So this was about this question. With this, let's move to the last question with respect to the current affairs. A direct question on the IUCN status of Indian wild ass, which is Khur. Is it endangered? No. Is it vulnerable? No. Is it threatened? No. Is it near threatened? 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option D. With this, we complete today's discussion with respect to the current affairs topics. Now let's move to the static topic, which is the acquisition of citizenship via naturalization. You know, acquisition of citizenship via naturalization, we had discussed earlier how a person can acquire a citizenship by birth, by descent, by registration, and today we had reached to the naturalization. Here the criteria are very simple. We had often heard about it. Now let's try to discuss them. Let's get the basic idea what they are. In the acquisition of citizenship by naturalization, it is the central government who grants a certificate of naturalization to any person, who can grant a certificate of naturalization to any person if he or she possesses the following qualification. They have to possess the following qualifications, then the certificate would be given to them. And also, he should not be the illegal migrant. The first qualification is that the person who is applying for the citizenship via naturalization, he should not that he is not a subject or citizen of any country, while citizens of India are prevented from becoming subjects or citizens of that country by naturalization. He should not be the citizen of any country with which India is conflict with, and India, according to India, that there is not the criteria. For example, any country which India does not want that the citizen of that country to be the citizen of our country by naturalization. So he should not belong to any of those countries. Second quality which he should have, that if he is a citizen of any country, they undertake to renounce the citizenship of that country in the event of their application for Indian citizenship being accepted. Once you had applied via naturalization and you are earlier citizen of any other country, now you have to renounce that earlier citizenship and accept the citizenship of India, of which you had applied for naturalization. As you had applied for the Indian citizenship via naturalization, then you have to accept it. Then third, he has either resided in India or been in the service of a government in India, or partly the one and partly the other, throughout the period of 12 months immediately preceding the date of the application. Before applying for the date, at least for the 12 months he has resided in India, either in services or for any other purpose. He has to reside in India before applying for the application. Then another, which is very much crucial, for which the Constitutional Amendment Act of 2019 came. What is that? What is mentioned in it? That this person who has to apply for the citizenship, he at least from the last 14 years, for example, I am applying now. If I have to go in reverse for the 14 years, for these 14 years I have to, from if we will add the last 14 years, जब हम उन 14 years को ऐड करेंगे और उन 14 साल में, in those 14 years, for at least 12 years you have to be in India, and before applying for at least 11 years you have to be in India, and before applying the citizenship of via naturalization you have to be in India for 12 months at least. But this criteria, it has been amended for few people. Who are these people? These are the minorities. In 2019 it has however, the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019 has reduced this aggregate period of residence or service of government in India to not less than 5 years for the persons belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi or Christian community in Afghanistan, Bangladesh or Pakistan. For example, if you belong to Afghanistan, Bangladesh, or Pakistan, and you belong to these religions. Who are the religions? Either you are the Hindu, you are Sikh, you are Buddhist, you are Jain, you are Parsi, or you are Christian. Then you don't need to be in India for 14 years. You have to just be in India for 5 years. Then you will be granted this citizenship. So this has been amended in 2019, and there was a huge uproar over this, as according to the critics, it was very much misleading, but in a way it was not that misleading how it was portrayed by the opposition. Then the another criteria what he should have, he should be a person of a good character. This criteria, this this thing should be, this qualification should be in that person, that he is a person of a good character. Also, that he has an adequate knowledge of a language specified in the 8th schedule. In the 8th schedule, the languages which are there, the person who is trying to be the citizens of India by nationalization, he should at least know a single language from the 8th schedule. So these are the criteria which are required for a person to be the citizen of India by nationalization. I tried my best to collab to to include all these things in a very little span of time. These topics are very time consuming. If we will go to the detail, it will take huge amount of time to discuss these, but the reason to bring them here is to give you the basic idea what is in the book and what you should learn, and how the questions could come from these articles. Now with this, let's move to the question session. Let us try to solve a question with respect to the acquisition of citizenship by nationalization. Here the question says, which of the following statements are correct regarding the acquisition of Indian citizenship by nationalization? First statement, an applicant must have resided in India for at least 12 years prior to the application. 100% correct, nothing wrong with it. Second statement, the applicant must demonstrate proficiency in at least one of the languages recognized in the English in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. 100% correct. Third, naturalized citizens are entitled to the same rights as citizens by birth. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option C, which is 1, 2, and 3. All of the statements are correct. Now with this, let's move to the last part of our discussion, which talks about the previous year questions. Try to get some information from what was in the papers earlier, how the questions could come, and let's get some information from those questions. Here the first question is about the Indian National Army came into existence in 1943 in which country? Was it Japan? Was it Burma? Was it Singapore? Was it Malaya? It was definitely Japan. But here you can make a mistake about, maybe they can ask you who was the leader. You can make a mistake. Many of you would say it was Subhash Chandra Bose, but it is not. This was made under the leadership of Mohan Singh. So with respect to this question, we should know who was the leader of this Indian National Army in Japan when it came into existence. We need to know, because it is a common mistake, common mistake in everybody's mind, that it was Subhash Chandra Bose who formed it, who was the leader in Japan for the Indian National Army. No, it was not him. It was under the leadership of Mohan Singh. Now coming to the last question of today's discussion, it is about the Mahatma Gandhi's suggestion to Mountbatten before the independence. Let us see what the question says. As an alternative to the partition of India, Gandhi suggested to Mountbatten that he postpone granting of independence, totally absurd. Invite Jinnah for the government. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. Now let's have a look at the other statements too. Statement C, invited Nehru and Jinnah to form government. No. Invite the army to take over for some time. No, totally incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option A. With this, we complete today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it with your friends. I hope you would definitely subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.